What's up, guys? Hope everyone's having a great weekend. We're going to be taking a look at the Bitcoin charts. Make sure you stick around for the whole video because we got some very key areas to watch. Also, don't forget we have a free Discord group. There's a link down below in the description. Check it out. It's an awesome community, and let's get into it. All right, guys, as always, it's not financial advice, trading advice, nor is it investment advice. Always do your own due diligence and your own research before investing or trading in any markets. And before we begin, we are doing a LEDGER NANO S giveaway, and that is tomorrow. All you have to do to enter to win is subscribe to the channel. Make sure you tick that notification bell to get you notified when I post videos. Hit that thumbs up and leave your comment down below. That will get you entered to win. And let's take a look at the Fear and Greed Index. We're at 87. We raised 1 point from yesterday, still in the extreme greed zone. We're going to take a look at the hourly charts first. As you can see, we had this rising, broadening wedge here. We had a target once we broke here down at the 1622. If you guys have been watching the videos, you'll know we hit that almost to the dollar. So what we're looking at now is a possible rising wedge here. But what I'm looking at, obviously we're getting a little pump right now, is possibly coming up to retest the top of that. The 17.6 is where I'd be looking for a rejection if we're getting rejected here, and then back down to this 16.7 range, which would be the top of the rising channel that we'll look at in the 4 hour. If we do break this 17.6, I see us possibly getting up to retest the bottom of this wedge again at 18.2. And if we put the Fibonacci retracements over here from the swing high to the swing low, we'd be looking around the 18,250, where I said we'd be testing the bottom of this wedge, would be the 0.618 Fibonacci range, which is obviously the golden pocket area. That is a possibility. We also have the 0.5 fib sitting right at about 17,850. So I'd be watching there really closely too. But if we do get up here, I'm most likely going to try to put a short in here with a stop loss just above. And I would expect to at least come down and retest the top of this wedge here. If we do break back inside, then obviously we can look at lower targets. Now, if we do get a rejection here, come back down and break down below, we have two targets to look for. First one being a measured move of the wedge. If we do break down below that 16,740 area, the first target would be 15.4. And then if we look at that as a bear flag, we do a measured move of the flagpole to where it broke there. The next target to be looking for, depending on where this breaks, guys, if it takes longer to break, the target moves. But if we did break there, it would be somewhere in the $14,100 range would be the target. Now, if we break up from here, we could go as high. If we do break, let me zoom in a little bit. If we do break above and back inside this wedge, we could be looking at as high as the 0.786 fib, which is about 18,800 to 18,900. Right in that area, I would expect a rejection. If we bust above that, then we could be looking at the major bullish move that a lot of people are thinking is going to happen. I'm not convinced of it, although it is a possibility. We're going to take a look at both the bullish and bearish case scenarios here. You look in the RSI on the 1 hour, we've broken out of this wedge here, which suggests that we will come up to at least try to test that 17.6, possibly the 18.2. If we do get up in that range, you look here where the RSI stopped on the 1 hour, we go up to where that's at. That is right up here around the 19,000. We're going to be making some bearish divergence on the 1 hour, so keep an eye out for that. Let's look at the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, just a real quick look at the RSI. We go off these two wicks here. We are breaking above this trend line just a little bit, depending on where the 4 hour closes. And we have 47 minutes for that to close. So we'll see what happens. It'll probably be closed by the time this video gets out. Another thing I want to look at in the 4 hour is this solid yellow trend line here, which we did get bounces off of so far. We are back above the rising channel here. Let me zoom out so you can see that. This is the rising channel that we've been watching. We had a measured move of the breakout of this of 20,700. Still a possibility to get up and tag that if we are going to run with the bullish case. If we do break this yellow trend line here, which would also be breaking back inside this rising wedge or rising channel, if we get a daily open and close below this 16,750 range, I do believe we'll come back down to at least test this trend line here, depending on where it goes. You know, if it went straight down there now, would be about 14,800. If it took, you know, a week or two, or the next couple weeks, would be about 15.6. Now let's take a look at, if this was to break, what's the target here? If we looked at this as a rising wedge, we would do a measure move of where it would break is at 16,750. Could get us down to that 13,250, which also lines up with the 0.382 fib. If we take the swing high to the swing low all the way down here, and I will show you what I'm looking at. This is the 3,100 range, and I'm using that as a swing low on this Fibonacci retracement from back here in December. As you can see, this one did not break it, so I'm going to use that as the swing low, and where we're at now is the swing high. If this is the top, would match up with that 0.382 at the 13,250, which would be retesting the bottom of this rising channel. If that's to break, the next stop is 0.5 fib at 11.3. Then we have the golden pocket zone around 92, and we'll take a look at where it could go if it was to break that area. Now let's take a look at Prime XBT. If you guys are interested in trading, this is by far the best exchange, in my opinion. They don't trade against you like all the other exchanges. You don't see the crazy liquidation wicks that are, you know, 200 bucks above other exchanges and all that. You can use my promo code Savy50 to get you 50% on top of whatever you deposit as a bonus up to 1 Bitcoin. Savy25 will get you 25% off of your trading fees. Now on here you can trade crypto, forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, Dow Jones, everything on one platform instead of switching back and forth like you have to do with others. And you can put multiple trades in without clumping them together. Also, they have a lot of cool features on here. I will leave a Prime XBT tutorial up top so you can check it out. But like I said, they have a lot of cool features like this one here. You can put multiple charts on one screen if you don't have multiple monitors. Even if you do, it's nice to add. But check it out if you haven't already. Let's get into the daily and look at this indicator we've been watching here. It is, as you can see, each time we topped out here, which I have them marked for each top here, it does look like we have flipped bearish here on the daily. As you can see, we are dropping, and as you can see, every time we drop up at these levels, that usually signifies a top. So be careful. Like I said, we're going to take a look at the bullish case scenario too, but as of right now, this isn't looking very bullish according to this indicator. Also, if we pull this up, this is our 1 hour RSI. And if we look at where we dropped the bottom here and here, we're making higher lows in the price action, lower lows in the RSI. That is bullish divergence. So that's one thing pointing we could be bullish here. We're going to move on, but first, check out my wife's webpage, inkyimage.com. There's a link down below. There's a 10% discount for the next 2 days if you use BITMIS20 as your promo code. That's for 10% off on all the Bitcoin stuff. There's a lot of other stuff on here. Check it out if you're looking for Christmas gifts. All right. So let's look at the daily here we've been watching. We had talked about this triple top on the RSI, and I had been expecting a dump there, which we did get. We're also looking at this trend line here. We did peak above it and got back below. Now, what will make me bullish here is if we open and close a candle above this top trend line, which is around 18,800. So if we do that, I think our next stop would be this trend line here off of these wicks right across. That would get us up to, I'd be looking for about $22,000 to $22,500 range. Again, this is the bullish case, and I don't get bullish unless we get back above this trend line and get support on it. But then we have this here. If we do break that, we could be looking at $25,000 to $26,000 Bitcoin before the correction. So be careful. As of right now, I'm still looking for us to at least come back down and retest this trend line here, which is the top of the rising broadening wedge. And again, if this takes time to get down here, to retest would be around the 15.6. If we get down quicker, line up with the 55 EMA here. Whoops. We could be looking at about 15.1, somewhere in that area. But a break below this trend line here and getting back up and rejected, I see us coming down to at least at 13.2. And then we have this 11.2, which is the bottom of this rising broadening wedge. Now, again, depending on where that hits, it is angled. So keep an eye on that area. But again, looking at this as the swing low and the swing high, if we are topped out here, here are your Fibonacci retracement levels. 15.6, 13.2, 11.2, between 92 and 94. And then we have the 0.786, and that is about 6,600. And then we do have this trend line off of these two wicks down here that we could possibly come back down to the 49.76, and that could be next year. I've been saying, or even the following year, I've been saying it is possible, guys, that we go in a multi-year bear run, or at least another year. I know that's against what everybody's thinking. They think this is super bullish. Everybody's thinking this is just a correction and we continue up from there, which I'm not saying it's not possible, but be aware that it does not have to happen. People are convinced that that's going to happen. And usually when everybody's convinced, the market does the exact opposite. So be careful in this range. And looking at the weekly, so this is the weekly RSI that we've been watching. I do expect us to come back down, at least retest this on the weekly. That could take, you know, within the next couple weeks to get down here and retest if we do get a bounce there. We'll keep an eye on it. If we close the RSI below this trend line, guys, I believe there's a possibility we come all the way back down and retest this trend line. As you can see, we're in a rising channel here. If we look over here in 2017, we did the same thing, wicked just above it, came back down, retested, got a little bounce, and through. If we were to do the same thing over here, it would be most likely looking something like this and down. So be careful. Like I said, I wouldn't get too caught up in the super bullish craziness scenario. Again, I'm not saying it can't happen, but just be cautious, guys. And if you look at the monthly, it'll be interesting to see where this monthly closes. This candle is starting to look a lot like these two candles here, and we see what happened after those. So be careful. Have a great day. I hope you have a great weekend. I will see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking the Crypto Savvy logo above my head. Smash that like button, leave your comments down below, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy, guys. Have a great day. Let me know what you think down there. Where do you think we're headed? I am curious to see what everybody says. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm out.